Good morning, my dear student. Myself, Dr. Apiluddin Ahmed. So today I will discuss some important questions which are related to relations, and hope these questions will be helpful for you. Yes, in terms of your board exam. So you see the first question is there. Let R be the equivalence relation on the set A. Yes, A set is given, and this relation is given by this y. Yes, you see the relation, definition of relation A will be where 2 divides A comma B. Now write the equivalence class of 0. You see the definition here, the R is like this one, A comma B, and where 2 divides, yes, 2 divides A minus of B. That means when A minus B is divisible by 2, then A will relate to B here. Yes, so this is our relation. Now we need to simply find this equivalence class of 0. Yes, equivalence class of 0, and you see here, since we need to find the equivalence class of 0, you see what will be the equivalence class of, yes, तो अभी देखो ये 0 का साथ रिलेटेड कौन कौन एलिमेंट्स है इसमें, और एक बात याद रखो, A का साथ 0 रिलेटेड होने के लिए A माइनस बी इज डिविजिबल बाई 2 होना चाहिए. तो 0 का साथ देने के लिए 0 minus that element should be divisible by 2. So here A is our this one. Yes, A is our 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So you choose the element. Suppose in case of 0, is this 0 will contain this equivalence class of 0? Yes, because you see 0 0 का साथ relate होगा. Why? Because 0 minus 0 will be 0, and which is divisible by 2, so 0 will be there. 0 will be there. Now you check for 1. Yes, so 0 minus 1, you get here minus 1. Now is this minus 1 divisible by 2? No, so 1 नहीं रहेगा. Now for 2, yes, 0 minus 2 means here minus of 2, and which is divisible by 2, so this 2 will be also there. Now in case of 3, yes, 0 minus 3 is minus 3, and is this minus 3 is divisible by 2? No, so 3 भी नहीं रहेगा. Similarly you check for 4, 0 minus 4, that means कितना रहेगा बोलो, 0 minus of 4 means minus of 4, and this minus of 4 is divisible by 2, that means this 4 भी रहेगा. But 5 तो नहीं रहेगा. Why? Because 0 minus of 5 means minus of 5, and this is not divisible by 2, that means 5 नहीं रहेगा. So this is the equivalence class of 0. Is it okay, student? You see the another important questions. Yes, let T be the set of all triangles in a plane and R be a relation on T given by this y. Yes, this is our relation. You see here, R is nothing, R is contain T1 comma T2 when T1 is congruent to T2. Yes, T1 is congruent to T2. Now show that this R is an equivalence relation. Yes, you see हम लोगों का क्या दिया है, एक रिलेशन दे दिया जिसका अंदर में T1 comma T2, that means ये T1 ट्रायंगल T2 का साथ रिलेटेड होगा only when this T1 is congruent to triangle T2. Yes, that means क्या दिया है, देखो कोई भी एक triangle ले लो, suppose this is T1. Now this triangle will relate to T2 only when these two triangles are क्या है, congruent है. Now we need to show that this relation is an equivalence relation, and guys you see a relation is called equivalence if the relation is reflexive, symmetric and transitive. Since we need to show this relation is an equivalence relation, that means we need to show the relation is reflexive, symmetric as well as transitive. Okay, so just you try to show that 3 conditions. So first of all, for reflexivity, yes, reflexivity. We know that relation is called reflexive if all the elements are related to itself. Okay, so now you see, since any triangle suppose T is always congruent to itself। कोई भी एक ट्रायंगल ले लो, वो ट्रायंगल हमेशा क्या होगा, एक कोई भी एक ट्रायंगल ले लो, सपोज इसमें T और सपोज Ti, then always this Ti will be congruent to itself। So you see here, according to our definition of relation, कोई भी एक ट्रायंगल और एक का साथ कॉन्ग्रुएंट होने से वो क्या हो जाता है, रिलेट हो जाते हैं। तो कोई भी एक ट्रायंगल खुद का साथ हमेशा क्या होता है भाई, कॉन्ग्रुएंट होता है। तो ऑब्वियसली वो खुद का साथ क्या होगा, कनेक्ट होगा। ठीक है, दैट मीन्स क्या होगा, ये जो Ti कोमा Ti ऑलवेज बिलोंग्स टू R फॉर ऑल Ti बिलोंग्स टू T। यस, दैट मीन्स देखो कोई भी एक Ti ले लो, कोई भी एक ट्रायंगल ले लो, खुद का साथ हमेशा क्या होता है भाई, कॉन्ग्रुएंट होता है। तो जब खुद का साथ कॉन्ग्रुएंट होगा, सो अकॉर्डिंग टू आवर डेफिनेशन ऑफ दिस रिलेशन, खुद का साथ इसमें क्या होगा, रिलेट भी होगा। तो रिलेट होगा मतलब T1 कोमा T1 भी R में रहेगा। एंड दिस इज हैपेंड फॉर ऑल Ti's बिलोंग्स टू द capital T, that means the set of all the triangles। so for all Ti's this is happened, that means क्या है, R is reflexive। so R is reflexive हो गया। now we need to consider an element, suppose T1 comma T2 belongs to R। yes, and where this T1 comma T2, ये दो ट्रायंगल कहाँ से लिया है, सेट ऑफ ट्रायंगल T से ले लिया। यस, हियर वी कंसीडर T1 जो ट्रायंगल है ये T2 का साथ रिलेट होता है। नाउ इफ वी वांट टू शो दिस इज ए सिमेट्रिक, देन वी नीड टू शो दिस T2 आल्सो रिलेट T1। yes, so now you see, since T1 comma T2 belongs to R, and by the definition of relation we can say here this T1 triangle congruent to triangle T2। yes, and this will implies T2 congruent to, yes, congruent to T1 also we can write, क्योंकि कोई भी एक ट्रायंगल, ये सपोज T1 ले लो, ये सपोज T2 ले लो। now if this T1 is congruent to T2, so obviously T2 also congruent to T1 will be there। so from this one what we can write, since T2 congruent to T1, that means T2 comma T1 also belongs to here R, that means R is our symmetric। so R is our symmetric also। now to show this R is symmetric also, in this case what we do here guys, just we consider T1, T2 and T3 are three triangles in T such that, yes, such that T1 comma T2, T1 comma T2 belongs to R and T2 comma T3 also belongs to R, we consider। yes, T1 T2 का साथ रिलेट होता है एज वेल एज T2 T3 का साथ रिलेट होता है, ये ले लिया। नाउ वी नीड टू शो हियर दिस T1 comma T3 also belongs to R, because from this first one what we get here, from this one we'll get here T1 is congruent to T2 triangle, and here from here what we get here, T2 congruent to T3। so now you see T1 triangle congruent to T2 and T2 also congruent to T3, then obviously what happened here guys, you see, suppose we consider this is T1, suppose T2 this one, and suppose T3 this one। now you see, since this triangle is congruent to this one and this is also congruent to this one, then obviously this first one will be congruent to last one, T3। so from this one what we can write guys, this is T1 also congruent to T of 3। yes, so from this one we can write T1 is T1 comma T3 belongs to R। because if this T1 is congruent to T3, then T1 will be related to T3. Yes, so that means hence R is क्या है, transitive है. Now you see that the relation R is reflexive here, symmetric here, as well as transitive. That means the relation R will be as an equivalence relation. That means here R is an equivalence relation. Yes, R. Yes, so this is the result. Okay, thank you.